RAW book, Testimonies, No More, No Less, Children Surviving from Prostitution. We have trained young people and have asked them to go out into communities to teach other young people about child sexual abuse.
Sex exploitation, the issue of child prostitution, because when you go literally to the children and talk to them, you begin to cry.
This survey is both at national, but it will give you data at a regional level, because our various regions have got different conditions and circumstances that make our children suffer. The survey covers all forms of violence against children, and key amongst them is sexual violence. Now, the stories these children are telling will be related so much to that, but they also be related to physical violence in terms of trafficking, then it's psychological, emotional. Preliminary results are indicating that while we have quite a number of initiatives on all the other forms of violence, we have very little on emotional violence. We are not responding. We don't have the mechanisms, the kind of interventions that respond to emotional violence. As government, we are committed, we are pushing for policies and programs that will protect our children. As we move on and as we work with you, we hope that we'll be able to win in the few years to come.
I'm called Rogers Kasile, Executive Director, Uganda Youth Movement Link. Why am I the MC? I'm the MC because this touches me. This touches me very much. The issue of sex exploitation, the issue of child prostitution, because when you go literally to the children and talk to them, you begin to cry. And you begin to wonder whether men have humanity or some women have humanity in them. Children cannot talk about gang rape and you sleep in your bed so comfortably. Children cannot bore children who have no father, because some guys, traders moved from the city, went to the village, slept with them, abandoned them, and children have children who are a bit white, not white, they are Somalis, they are not Somalis. They are rejected in homes, and we are seated in Kampala, very comfortable. Of course, our targets, we target children between 13 and 24 who are commercially sexually exploited. We also address issues of victims of trafficking and worst forms of child labor. We look at slum youth, street children, teenage youth from poor families. All these are, targets on children who are affected by the issues we're talking about.
Reference Project is a project that started in 2015 and it's ending in 2017. And we want to end it with a bang, so this is one of the events that we have organized to ensure that it's ending well. And it's basically covering Kampala, Mukono, and Wakiso districts. And like Mr. Kasi said, the budget is 261,000 euros for the 3 years. The major objective is basically to eradicate violence against children, all sorts of violence against children. But we have specific objectives where we look at sexual exploitation, where we look at physical exploitation, we look at sexual abuse in the homes, in the education system, but also we look at the detention centers or rehabilitation homes. Actually, this project is a continuation of a project that we had before, which was called the Practice. I hope I'm mentioning it right in French. And the Practice was basically looking at putting in place programs that could strengthen rehabilitation of children and young people who had been sexually exploited. And within that phase, we developed a peer protection, self-protection manual, a toolkit that young people themselves can use to talk about child sexual abuse and have dialogues with each other on child sexual abuse and do referrals. So with that manual or toolkit that we developed then, we now rolled it out within this phase of the repair program. And we've reached out, we targeted 210 peers. We'll later see how much we have achieved. And then we were also targeting the key stakeholders, which included the actual potential abusers. And then we've also worked with other NGOs. Some of them are present today. We built capacities of some NGOs, some local leaders, some law enforcement officers, and as I talked about, the code of conduct that has been adopted in 20 hotels, lodges, and brothels.
I'm very happy to be with you today to highlight the commitment of your organization and all of you on this big challenge along sexual violence against vulnerable people and particularly children. It is probably because of this that AFD is supporting this kind of project in many countries. I had some experience in DRC Congo a few years ago, but we are also helping Congo Brazzaville, Uganda of course, Rwanda, Kenya, Ethiopia, and also many countries in West Africa. Therefore, I will just highlight a few activities that are the bottom line of this project. I mean, it is key to work on rehabilitation, rehabilitating children, rehabilitating vulnerable people, and enhancing reconciliation with their families, with their communities, which will help them to escape from their condition and will help them to go back to this kind of situation.
One day, after meeting the men, we pretended to go back to our room, but we ran away. We ran past the border and entered into Kenya. We managed to cross the border without any ID in exchange for having sex with a policeman. It was the only way to cross the border. On the other side, we rented a house with a single room, and we continued with sex work. The other girl was older than me. I was 15 when my friend died. One night it was late and she went out to buy some food. On her way, she was gang raped and killed.
As part of the Reparate program, one of the things that we are doing is amplifying the children's voices. We want children to be heard. We want children to be part of the changes in their lives. And this is one of those that is calling for key stakeholders to change the children's lives. So kindly embrace it, read it, learn from the stories, make use of it. You can even give it to the children themselves to amplify more stories. We have a French version of the book. For those that need it in French, we can share the soft copies of that. So as we launch this book, I would like to hand We would like to hand over this package to you and to the French Embassy, and we want to thank you for the support and the seed that you sowed in Uganda Youth Development Inc. and in this country, Uganda, in serving and ensuring that children are protected from sexual exploitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. And as you can see, it's a star, so I hope it will shine in the sky for the kids to not be forgotten. Thank you. Thank you. So my name is Virginie Leroy and I am the country representative for the Agence Française de Développement, AFD, which is the French development agency based in Uganda. I had some personal experience 4 years ago when patrolling at night in the streets of a big African city, namely Kinshasa, and meeting with young boys and girls that would look at me with a mix of fear and smile, and I think it was an opportunity, but it's also a duty for everyone to open the eyes on these practices. I mean, it's not far from our homes. Don't believe that it's far. It's close to us.
I remember having people, young girls and young boys, coming close to my apartment just to get some rest. I couldn't see them when I was waking up because I would have left at that time, but they were close to me while I was sleeping. And this is something that people need to be aware. I mean, this situation is close to their families.
What is government doing to protect children from, especially officers of the law, people who are supposed to protect them and yet are taking advantage of them? What is government doing to protect children from such? Because the rest of us can advocate for the fellow non-officers of the law to protect children, but these are people who hold power. These are people who, they are mandated to protect their children and yet they are not doing that.
I would like to comment on is the issue of trafficking. Everyone who has stood up here has talked about trafficking, has mentioned something on trafficking. Yes, FIDA, we are still implementing a program with other partners, Dwelling Places and Rahab Uganda, on child trafficking being supported by terrorist zones. But it's like it's becoming one of the serious problems that is really being faced in Uganda. And one of the challenges is the issue of the investigations and charging. As partners here, I leave it to the whole floor. What can we do? You find that trafficking is on increase because the perpetrators are charged with lesser offenses.
The government is in the process of reviewing its policy on orphans and other vulnerable children. We are coming up with a new comprehensive child policy with an action plan. And this policy will look at 4 areas: to look at the survival of the children, to look at the protection of these children, to look at the participation of the children and the development. And in these 4 pillars, we'll be covering quite a number of issues. Some of them will include covering violence against children, and violence against children in all its forms. There's sexual violence, there's physical violence, there's emotional violence and psychological violence. We are also going to look at our education, we'll look at early childhood development. We'll insist on child participation, developing the capacities of children to participate in programs that affect them. We are also thinking about improving the health status of our children in our households.